It is now my pleasure to introduce our Saturday night speaker, Darren P. from Santa Barbara, for 20 years.
Hi everybody, my name's Darren, I'm an alcoholic. I love those countdowns, don't you? Fills my heart, dude. A lot of camaraderie, you know, everybody's rooting for each other. Nothing like it used to be out there. It was like, you know, I'm just looking out for myself, but this is amazing, man. Imagine if you lot, most of you from Fresno, right? Yeah. Imagine if all you went out now in Fresno and fucked shit up. You all went out, you all relapsed. We're doing the community of Fresno a huge favour, having you all here sober and happy, joyous and free. Holy shit. I came from Santa Barbara, right? Santa Barbara, 2.5 hours south. You came from 2.5 hours north. And the miracle of Alcoholics Anonymous, I get here, I kind of know some people. I want to thank Eric for asking me to come and share with you guys at this special weekend. So if I suck, it's Eric's fault. I know Adam did a great job. I was here this afternoon. He was brilliant, man. Me and him spoke at a convention a little while ago. Or two, and just to get to meet these characters, you know, it's just fucking brilliant. And I met a couple of people I know. I met Josh Glass, who's originally was around in Santa Barbara quite a few years ago. So that was brilliant. And I know Mike Kessler over there. I know him because we were in prison together. But, you know, I think he did a little bit more time than me because I just did about 2 hours. I was doing some H&I in there, you know what I mean? But if you want to get the real high, do some H&I, man. It is unfucking believable. So I'm blessed to see you out here doing good. I want you to know that I'm the worst drunk I've ever met. I can't believe I'm sober. I can't believe I'm sober and I'm happy. You know, because those two things don't go together, right? Isn't that why you get loaded again? That's why I got drunk again. Because sobriety sucks. Sobriety sucks when you don't have a program. In fact, it's so bad. I get so restless, irritable, discontent. I'm so full of anger. I'm fearful. I'm so uncomfortable in my own skin. After a few days, I get drunk again. And that sounds obvious to us as we're alcoholics. But if you've just come out of the lockdown psychiatric unit, one more time, the most insane thing you could do would be to pick up a drink. And there I am, all lit up again. All lit up again because I have no other solution. Things are so painful that the solution to my problem is the thing that's killing me. And no wonder that's cunning, baffling and powerful, right? And I did not want to come to Alcoholics Anonymous. Is this like AA and NA and everything, or is this mostly a bit of everything there? I did not want to come to Alcoholics Anonymous, because if you've seen it on the telly, that's the TV for you lot over here. They depict Alcoholics Anonymous and any other 12-step program so depressingly bad, it is the last thing you'd ever want to do. It shows 14 bald, fat, ugly, miserable men in a circle. One of them might be like 1 week sober or some shit, and they're all clapping and crying. Like, oh my God, I never want to end up there. And then towards the end of me drinking, that's the only place people are telling me where to go. Friends and family that haven't spoke to me in over a year. Darren, you need a 12-step program. And then finally the doctors and the psychiatrists are telling me that's where I need to go. I'm like, no, you don't understand, mate. I'm already suicidally depressed. Now you want to send me to A&A? What are you trying to do? Finish me off quicker, like? Jesus Christ. And also, I didn't even think I was an alcoholic. Now, my drinking got pretty bad. You're going to hear about it. But I didn't think I was an alcoholic because I don't look like an alcoholic. I have a preconceived notion of what it looks like to be an alcoholic. And for me, it's the bum on the end of the off-ramp, right? begging for change with a big bushy beard, you know, not a cool bushy beard like yours, an horrible bushy beard, and he's peed himself. That's an alcoholic, right? So nobody in here really looks like an alcoholic. You're either too young, you're too well put together. Well, some of you over there look like you've had a good drink. But for the most part, you don't look like an alcoholic. So I put this AA bullshit off for as long as was humanly possible. I fought going into recovery for as long as possible. And I think it kind of works better when this is the last house on the block, dude. I was steps from death. This is the last house on the block. And I remember it well. I'd already made it from... so, by the way, I'm talking like this because I'm from Manchester, England. Alcohol didn't do this to me, you know what I mean? I'm not having a stroke or nothing, I'm all right. But I remember I'd already made it to America, and I was on the mean streets of Santa Barbara. So I'm living in a shitty house in a crappy room on the west side of town, and I'd been suicidal on awakening for as long as I could remember. I'd met my match. Quicksand stretched out all around me. I was maudlin drunk as usual. It was about midnight. My 3 other roommates that wanted nothing to do with me, they were downtown partying, having excluded me again, which made for more self-pity. But I was just done, dude, and I'm gonna kill myself. So only then did I decide to reach out to Alcoholics Anonymous. And so I'm crying. I had to go and find the yellow pages, you know what I mean? I found the yellow pages. You young uns will have to Google that shit, won't you? I found the yellow pages, and this is how drunk I was. I couldn't find the name AA. Like, Darren, it's in the beginning of the fucking book. I called the number. This lovely older lady answered the phone. She was so good at her task, man. She was so lovely to me, and I got straight down to business. Yes, I might drink too much, but so would you if what's happened to me had happened to you. And I'm going to kill myself, blah, blah, blah. And she just insert a little nugget in there. You know, and then she talked me down off the ledge. And we're chit-chatting, and I'm just talking a load of nonsense. And she said, well, hey, Darren, have you never been to a meeting? And I said, no. And she said, well, wow, there's a meeting down the road tomorrow night from you in Santa Barbara. She made it sound so special. I didn't know there were 200 meetings a week in Santa Barbara. I passed out. I came to the next morning, shaking and baking. And I remembered, like, you know, about sometime in the afternoon, oh, God, I've got to go to that meeting. I've got to go because there's nothing else for me to do. And so I can't say I didn't have a little drink. I'm physically dependent on vodka at this stage of my drinking. Like, if I've got to leave my bedroom, let alone my house, I have to have a bit of cheeky vodka in me, you know what I mean? Especially if I'm doing something really weird, like interacting with other humans. I have to have a bit of a drink in me. So I remember I showered for the first time in months. And I gelled my hair all sexy. And I went walking down to this meeting, and it was a men's stag. I wouldn't have fucking showered if I'd have known that, you know what I mean? I went to this men's stag, and there were 80 men outside this meeting hall. And it was beautiful. It was just like this. There was a vibe about it. There was a vast amount of fun about it all. People knew each other. They were happy to see each other. Someone had gotten engaged, and everyone was stoked on that. Someone else had got a promotion at work. Now, I'm just watching what's going on. I'm not interacting or anything. I'm sat down. I don't want to catch anything from these happy fuckers. You know what I mean? By the time I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, I hate people generally speaking. But I especially hate those happy people, you know what I mean? I can't stand them. And then what happened next? Just underneath, the deadly earnestness kicked in. The secretary got his papers, sat down. There was 2 huge circles. He sat down and shuffled his paper. Everybody caught the cue. Everybody shut up. Everybody got off their phones, if you can believe that. And he sat down in these 2 huge circles. And I'm just looking around going, wow, and the meeting started. I'm like, wow, look at this. So I thought this is a good time to open my jacket pocket. I pull out a massive bottle of vodka and start drinking. And the guy next to me is like, holy fuck. This guy's drinking vodka in the meeting. And I'm looking around going like, wow, why is nobody else fucking drinking? Isn't this Alcoholics Anonymous? Don't you have a drinking problem? I have a really bad drinking problem. I stayed drunk in the rooms of Santa Barbara AA for a year. For a year. I didn't know nothing about recovery. I didn't know about sponsorship, steps, the book, that you could recover from this thing. All I thought AA was that we're so crazy out there, we cause so much mayhem, the least we can do is all come to these basement church bullshit meetings and be miserable together for an hour, shake hands and then carry on. I didn't know anything about anything, and so I stayed drunk for a year. It took me 3 months to figure out what you cheeky monkeys were doing. You lot were putting your vodka in a water bottle and bringing it to the meeting. You could have told me. I got quite the reputation back then, let me tell you. I wasn't always like that. I started drinking at 13. 13, I thought, that's really young, right? I thought, someone's going to fall off the chair. They're like, 13? That's ridiculously young. Like, no. Especially not nowadays, and especially not in Alcoholics Anonymous, right? 13, someone over here is saying, nudging his mate, I was drinking when I was 8. Nobody fucking cares, mate. Nobody cares. What I've realised is you can't outdo anybody in Alcoholics Anonymous. So don't ever try and do that. There's this one woman speaker. She gives a great talk here out in California, all over the place. However, her whole pitch surrounds the fact that she was high and drunk in her addicted mother's womb. In the womb. It's like, okay, Teresa, you win. You win. You can't outdo that one, can you? I think she was born smoking a pack of Marlboro Reds, blowing a .25, like, get her out of here. Bloody hell. So I started drinking, I drank from 13 to 33 for 20 years. Now I'm 20 years sober, which is a trip, but from 13 to 33. Now, I had a good time most of that time. I hate to tell you. Some people don't like that. Like, you don't like the fact that any other party animals in here. Yeah, I was fucking good at it. I didn't know I was going to meet you lot in here. I had a good time, and it's like, if anyone gets offended by that, it's like, don't worry, mate, I am going to ruin my life, and then I'm going to want to kill myself. We're going to get there. But I had a good time for a long time. I'm drinking, I started using drugs, usually I'll give a talk and say, this is Alcoholics Anonymous, so I'm going to talk mostly about alcoholism. But I did try cocaine once. For 20 fucking years. I love that shit. I'll take anything that allows me to drink Adam under the table. You know what I mean? Now, when I went through school, college, university, I was a party animal and the leader of my pack in Manchester. We had a great time, dude. Then I became an entrepreneur. Now, I was lucky. It was nothing to do with me. My brother's 6 years older than me. He's a very smart businessman. I'm leaving university. He said, come back to Manchester. We'll start this business together. And we were dealing with non-fault road traffic accidents. He was already an insurance broker. And he said, I'll give you all the claims. We bought a couple of vehicles. So I'd give you a replacement vehicle, get your car repaired, or get you a total loss check, put you with an attorney if you were injured, all this good stuff. He had it all figured out. And we made a great team because he was a brilliant businessman and I'm a good bullshitter. Just like you, we'll call him the marketing director, right? But we made a formidable team. The banker watched with amused skepticism. I whirled some fat checks in and out of his account. But this is where alcoholism starts to take its mighty grip. Now I'm driving a nice sports car and I've got Miss Manchester on my arm. But age 26, 27, 28, alcoholism and addiction crept into my bones. And it didn't come in the form of all of a sudden I'm drinking neat vodka in the mornings. Alcoholism is subtle and progressive. And alcoholism came in the form of massive amounts of anxiety. Isn't that the worst thing in the world? And alcoholism and addiction comes in massive forms of depression. And it came in the form of this spiritual illness that's eating me alive from the inside out. My soul's ever becoming blacker, and soon it will be ash. And I have no idea what's going on. No idea what's going on. Because you take me out at night, we're going to have a good time. I'm king shit. I'm like Superman. You put enough drugs or alcohol in me, we're going to have a good time. It's during the day when I'm sober and I'm trying to do my job that alcoholism is kicking my ass. Kicking my ass. And the best description I can give it is that something really weird is happening to me. And I'm thinking, am I going mentally ill? I have a bad mentally ill brother, paranoid schizophrenic. I'm like, oh, fuck, am I going like Mark a little bit? I'm just not sure what's going on. So no wonder it's cunning, baffling and powerful. As soon as I go out at night, I'm having a good time and I feel great. But during the day sober, alcoholism is killing me. It's killing me so much, it's affecting me from doing my job. I can't get out of my sports car to go to a high-powered business meeting that I've set up the day before because I'm paralysed with fear. I can see the entrance to the bank. It's 9 a.m. on a Monday morning. I haven't been to work in a good few days or a week. I got away with so much bullshit because I was the boss, but my brother was on to me, man. We always have somebody that's on to us, right? My brother was on to me, and I remember I could see the entrance to the bank. I just can't get out of my car. I'm losing my mind. I've drunk so much hard alcohol. I've done so many drugs. I think I've cracked my mind. Do you remember that feeling? Only you will understand what I mean by that. I'm operating at a level that needs dumbing down all the time. And I'm thinking to myself, if I can just get out of the car, scurry into the entrance of the bank like the rat I am without the sunlight shattering me into a million pieces, maybe I'll be okay. I remember living my life like that, just worried. And I go into the bank and there'd be a line in the bank and I can't just get in and out. And I'm stood in line. I'm super uncomfortable. It's cold out. I'm in my suit, but I'm sweating. I'm nervous. I look weird. I feel weird. I know these lot over here are looking at me weird. That woman's talking about me over there. And I'm just waiting for someone to just turn around in the queue and just look right at me and finally call you on your shit and look at me and go, what's wrong with you? I feel like, fuck, I don't know. Do you know? Because I don't know and I just have to leave. I was always so worried someone's going to see me and go, wow, dude, you're really bad. Because what do? I got a second full-time job at this stage of my alcoholism and addiction. My second full-time job was to run around Manchester making sure you thought I was okay. Because if I can convince you that I'm okay, maybe I'll be okay. And only another alcoholic will understand that. I'm dying from the inside out. But you ask me, how are you doing? What do we do? Change the facade. I'm doing great. I was thinking about killing myself 5 minutes ago. I'm great. How are you doing? Because I'm dying of a soul sickness that I don't understand, yet I care about you so much. That's all I care about. What you think of me. Things get so bad by the time I get to Alcoholics Anonymous, I can only think of two things anyway. Two things. I'm either thinking about me or I'm thinking about what you're thinking about me. That's fucking it. Things get to a head. Things are so bad at work. I go to a director's boardroom meeting. There's 4 directors. We're a small shareholding company. And I hated these things. There's me, my brother, a finance director, and a computer tech whiz kid. And I went to college with these 2 guys. And I hated these meetings. And I'm not paying attention. And they're having this meeting. And then my brother says, hey, yes, so Darren, we've had a meeting before this meeting. And we've all decided to let you go. And I wake up at that point. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, Darren, we've all signed this paper. And now, my brothers, I didn't think that was possible, right? Because I started the business. Only an alcoholic can get fired from a business he created. I says, my brother, what are you talking about? You can't do that. Well, it's a done deal. And he's so smart. And I knew he'd have it all signed and sealed. So I went from being really fearful to really angry in a nanosecond. So I went after him. I kicked the table over, to go and give him a flying headbutt. I believe in clear communication. The finance director tackles me. It's just one of those awful scenes where we've all had it, where the mask has slipped. Darren's been found out. I have to leave my sports car there. It's the worst time to exit the business, financially speaking, of course. So I'm walking off home, dejected, depressed, the worst day of my life. But as I'm walking home, I realise all I care about is getting ahead of the narrative. Because you can't be talking poorly about me. I'm already scheming. I got to change and flip the script. Who was in that room? There's my brother. He's a wanker. 2 other directors. They're nobodies. They're idiots. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, all I care about is telling everybody out there that it was my idea to get out of that thing, right? That's what we're like. We've got to save face. I'm dying, but I've got to save face. And as I'm going home that night, I remember I was going out that night because it was the weekend. It was a Thursday. Is anyone else's weekend longer than their week? So I go home, I get changed. I get to the pub before all my mates get there. Worst day of my life. I have a couple of stiff drinks and woof, the old fierce determination to win comes right back. Here comes my mate Simon. Here comes Dave. I said, do you hear about that bullshit today? My brother's a wanker. I built this business up from my bedroom. They bought it. And Lauren said, yeah, Darren, you did that. I can do anything I put my mind to. Then that's all I cared about, that they understood and they bought my version of the story. And by the next hour, I've had a couple of more stiff drinks. Now I've got an audience. 15 other of the boys have turned up. And I'm holding court. I'm telling them all, yeah, screw those guys. I don't need anybody. I know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm going to do, boys? In fact, I used to love travelling when I was a student. I'm going to go travelling again when I get my check. In fact, I'm going to go to America and I'm going to become President of America or some shit. Well, apparently any fucker can become president over here, right? That's right. I think the problem is the shitty UK weather. I think the problem is my brother. He's a wanker. I think the problem is my girlfriend. She keeps leaving me for stupid little things like my cheating on her and stuff. But no, somebody puts the problem on a flight at Manchester International Airport and flies me all the way to LAX. And here I am. All the good thoughts of you're doing too many drugs, you've got to stop drinking Jägermeister, you've got to tone it down a little bit. All these thoughts go out the window, and an uncle of mine, who I've never met before, has already lived in Santa Barbara for 20 years, comes and picks me up. He comes and picks me up, he hands me a big spliff, he builds a big spliff, takes a big drink, hands it to me, he says, welcome to America. I said, thank you, Uncle Patrick. Welcome, let's see if American can handle me. I came to America for a 2-week holiday 25 years ago. I never made it back to England. I didn't know I was going to almost die of untreated alcoholism and addiction. I came here just to take the edge off, dude. I just needed to get some sun. Take some time off, you know what I mean? We got my uncle who picked me up, owns a pub in downtown Santa Barbara. See, there is a God. I'm drunk for 2 weeks straight. I decided I'm going to stay for 2, maybe 3 weeks. My flight was booked for 2 weeks. I'm drunk, and I realise in that time, because when I'm on holiday, I like to have a bloody good drink, you know what I mean? And I realise my visa waiver that I signed on the plane allows you to stay for 90 days. So I'm like, screw that, I'm staying for 90 days. My uncle who owns the pub was adamant no drugs whatsoever are allowed in his pub. Within 2 days I found the 3 main dealers. Because we can do that no matter where we are, right? 3 main dealers, I'm all dialed in. 90 days, I'm off my brains for 90 days straight. Staying drunk isn't the problem for us. Staying drunk and high isn't the problem for us. It's a problem for other people. It's a problem for the authorities. It's a problem for spouses. Bosses don't like it. But that's not a problem for me. The real problem for any real alcoholic is facing life sober. And my lack of responsibility was really going to get my alcoholism through the roof. 90 days, I'm wasted. Become a daily drinker without even knowing it. Then a friend of mine, Simon, flies over to America to come visit me. I buy an SUV. We travel the whole of America for 5 months. 5 months, 12,000 miles, 32 states around the map of America. It was a trip of a lifetime. I'm drunk off my ass in every town, city and state. It's all a bit of a blur. I remember Graceland, that was pretty cool. But it's all a bit of a blur. By the time we get back to Santa Barbara 5 months later, I have 7 outstanding warrants in 5 different states. That means we had a good time. We had a good time. My friend who's normal flies back to England. I become a drunk bartender. A drunk bartender in my uncle's pub. I can't believe he gave me a job. He had no idea what he was letting himself in for. 18 months I bartended. I should have been fired after my first shift. I should have been fired after my first shift. I was so wasted, I came to with my face stuck to the concrete floor. Out of my head. I'd come to the next day, and I'd have a shadowy recollection of I did work last night. Shit. The locals, because I was so drunk, slumped me on a stool in the corner of the bar, and I'm watching through one eye as the locals are serving each other, giving each other money and shit. I'm like, this ain't right, man. This ain't right. 18 months hanging on by a thread. Now my alcoholism is through the roof. My anxiety is off the charts. Now I have to get well just to be able to go and do something. Liquor ceased to be a luxury, it became a necessity. Now I'm really screwed. I've crossed that line. There's no coming back. I remember I don't feel normal. I don't know what's going on. Now, here would be a typical day for me as I know I've got to... I'd wake up or I'd come to and I'm already in trouble. Like, I just fucking woke up. How can I be... And I don't know what I'm in trouble for, but I'm definitely in trouble. With that sense of impending doom the whole 18 months. Now I know why we have a sense of impending doom. It's because something bad is going to happen when you're living your life like we live it. I would come to and it would be like... And my bed's wet through because I've peed myself. There's Jägermeister coming out of every pore. And I'd shuffle to the end of the bed. We have a hangover so bad, so freaking bad, that most normal people would dial 911, right? And I'd be sat at the end of the bed going, oh my God, what is wrong with me? I'm like, well, no matter what, please don't make it be a work day, because I got to work on Wednesdays. And I look at me going, oh my God, it's Wednesday. And I got to be at work in half an hour. And I'm already in panic mode. But now we have a solution, and of course it involves alcohol. I'm going to go to the Irish bar, have a cheeky drink to go across the road to the English pub and go to work. And I think I'm doing my boss a favour. And so I jump in the shower, I get on my bike because I don't want another DUI. Now as I'm going down State Street, huge delivery trucks are coming up the other way. And I fantasise about just going under one of them delivery trucks, right? Because it would look like an accident. And only you know what I mean. We fantasise about that all the time. And I'd finally make it to Dargan's Irish pub. And I'd put my bike against the hedge. I'd grab the door handle. And in the nanosecond of holding onto that handle, I've already changed my mind 6 times. Just go out onto State Street and kill yourself. No, not now. And I'd open that door, walk into this huge empty Irish Dargan's pub like I did every Wednesday or every Monday or every Friday. Beautiful Yvonne is in there, Irish Yvonne. God, she was gorgeous. She was way out of my fucking league, obviously. And she's cleaning the beer pumps or some shit. I'd never cleaned nothing in my bar, you know what I mean? Now, I've been thinking of a drink all the way down. It's 9:15. Who else needs a drink at 9:15 in the morning? How can I make this look normal? How can I finagle a drink into the... And so I'd walk in there, she'd catch my attention, I'd catch her. She'd go, Jesus, Darren, how you doing, young fella? And I'd be like, hey, Ivana, I'm all right, I'm a bit rough. I went out last night. I think I've got the flu or something as well. But I went out, drank too much last night, and I don't want to go to work. I'd have my shift covered, but I've had my previous 14 Wednesdays covered. So I've got to go to work. And magically she said to me, would you like a pint? I'm like, fuck yeah. Now it's like her idea. Now it's like I'm weighing it up, I don't know. Yeah, go on then. Why not? I'm dying for a pint. Now here's the problem. I get to the bar. She turns around. Now I don't think I can handle the 30 seconds it's going to take her to walk around and pour the pint. I can't wait 30 seconds. She's doing this, and I'm like, oh my God. And she'd look my way, and I go, hey, how are you doing? Then she'd bring the pint over. Finally, I'm going to have a nervous mental breakdown any minute. She finally puts the pint in front of me, but she doesn't walk off to clean again. She stands there, looking right at me. Like she wants to chit-chat or some shit. I just want to pull my knife out and stab her in the neck, stab her in the neck, bleed her out, get her on the floor. I finish the pint. Oh, drink that pint. 3 seconds straight, man, I finish that pint, but it's just not strong enough, dude. It's just not quite strong enough to do the job, and I'm dying, and I've got to go to work. And I can't not go to work because I've been found out over and over and over. I don't know what to do. I'm dying. And she looks at me and she notices what's going on. She said, would you like a Jaeger? And I say, yes, I need a Jaeger. She doesn't bother with a little shot glass bullshit. She gives me a tumbler full of that stuff. I feel better just watching her pour that thing all the way to the top. She gives me that full tumbler and I glug it down. Glug, 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 glug. I swear to God, within 20 seconds, woo, hey, what was the problem? What was the goddamn problem? I'd gone from a trembling, despairing, nervous wreck to a man brimming over with self-reliance like that. Now I'm checking Yvonne out. Yeah, hey, love, yeah. Now I'm going to go to my bar. I'm going to come back on my break to shag Yvonne. If she's lucky. I go to work. I overshoot the mark. I come to the next morning to 6 missed calls. 6 missed calls from the boss. Ooh, that sense of impending doom. That gut punch. It rings again for the 7th time and I answer it. Get down here now. Now. Oh my God. I get dressed. I go down to the bar. I'm crying. I said, I'll never do that again. Darren, you'll never work in here ever again. I should have fired you after the first shift. You'll never work in here. I doubt you'll ever work in Santa Barbara ever again. You need to get out of here, man. I'm like, please, look, no, get out of here. Oh, I tied one on that day. I tied one on that day and that night. I got up the next morning and went down to that bar to see who took my shift. And I threw a pint over him in front of everybody. How to ostracize yourself from the whole of downtown Santa Barbara in a nanosecond. Only we can pull something like that off. Darren, you get out of here right now. We never want to see your face ever again. And I go out and I just go on a death march. I haven't seen anybody for months. I'm not a cute little drunk. I'm not a functioning alcoholic. I'm a vodka drinking maniac. A typical day for me is I would come to and it would be pitch black outside. I have no idea whether it's night or day. And I figure it out, oh my God, it's 5 a.m., that darkest hour before the dawn. I am shivering, I am dying. Now I have strong, horrible, warm vodka under my bed because I'm going to need it at first daylight, but I so desperately don't want to drink because I know what that means. But I can only battle it for 10 minutes. 10 minutes because the mental and hellish torture is so bad, I've cracked my mind. I've drank so much hard alcohol, I've done so many drugs, I've ruined my wiring. So after 10 minutes, I'd reach under my bed, I'm drinking from tall bottles of vodka, and I always have 4 fingers left in the bottom of it. Because it's like a science project. It is immensely important to leave that amount in the vodka bottle for in the morning. I would drink that vodka, I would finish it, and it's not even 6 a.m., But here's the problem. I've just fed the beast, and now the beast needs feeding. And I would put on my smelly, baggy clothing to go 1 block to Foodland liquor store to steal my 2 big bottles of vodka. And I'd come clinking off home. Now, you get home, what you want to do is just pound the vodka and pass out because we want oblivion. No. It's like a science project. It is immensely important that first bottle of vodka gets nursed into the later afternoon. Because the second bottle has to get me into the evening. Because what I'm always trying to do is get into the later evening with that second bottle, leaving enough to try and get to 9, 10, maybe even 11 o'clock at night, because I could never sleep, and maybe I'd catch a good enough sleep to wake up and not have to drink like that ever again. And it says the mind and body are marvellous mechanisms. I drank like that for 2 more years. 2 more years of jails, institutions, and death. And I'm going to the lockdown psychiatric unit regularly. Jails, institutions, death. Death was close. Death was welcomed. You can't scare us with death at this stage of alcoholism. Bring it on, man. But alcoholism doesn't have the dignity to take us quick. I'm not talking about a fentanyl overdose. Alcoholism will fuck with you for years, sometimes decades. My fear is not dying an alcoholic death. My fear is living an alcoholic life. 1 miserable day at a time. Here's how I got sober. I came to one morning. There was no vodka under my bed. That had never, ever, ever happened to me before. And I took it as a sign, okay, this is the day I'm going to kill myself. And I was fine with that, no big drama. I tried to kill myself 3 months before that. 3 months before, all my roommates were downtown partying, having excluded me again. And I remembered one of them has an arsenal of weapons. He was a maniac. So I broke into his bedroom. It was about midnight. I jimmied the door, broke it in. I found an AK, a shotgun, all these loaded weapons. Now, I'm English. I don't quite know what I'm doing with a gun. But I find this loaded revolver. I go staggering into the living room. I sit down. I put the gun in my mouth. It's cold. It's heavy on my teeth. And I'm figuring it out. Wait, do you blow the back of your head off, or do you shoot up through the roof of your mouth? And as I'm thinking it through, the thought came to me, hey, Darren, it's midnight. If you pull the trigger right now, you'll definitely wake the neighbours up. I'm too polite for that shit, you know what I mean? Just throw the gun back in there and I finish the job. But this morning I'm going to kill myself. I'm in my bedroom for a couple of hours deliberating. I'm calm, cool as a cucumber, sober as a judge. About 10 a.m. I decide to throw myself off Santa Barbara's biggest bridge. Called Cold Springs Bridge off the 154. Popular suicide spot in our area, a bit like the Golden Gate. I go outside to get in my car. Thank God my car is there. Do you remember that movie, Dude, Where's My Car? I could never find my car. I jump in my car. I drive 25 minutes up the mountain road. I park. I walk to the centre of the bridge, and I'm just going to go off. I walk to the centre of the bridge, and I pause because I know it's going to kill my mum. And in that pause, grace came in the form of a man who told me the truth in Alcoholics Anonymous, and it came back to me. I used to share inappropriately at meetings, drunk sometimes. I would tell everybody, I'm going to kill myself, blah, blah, blah. AA doesn't work. He pulled me off to the side one time and said, Darren, what are you talking about, man? He said, first of all, you might well kill yourself. So what? You won't be the first, and you won't be the last. He said, but you can't say Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't work. And I got angry because he's telling me the truth. I said, I've been coming here for a year, old man. He said, well, Darren, first of all, you should come sober. It works better. Okay. He said, a drunk like you need to have a psychic change. You need to have a sponsor. You need to be working the steps. And we're just arguing. I'm thinking all this on the bridge going, God, he's right, man. I had 2 big secrets. Just like some of you might have the same 2 big secrets. One was I didn't have a sponsor. And if I did, it was in name only. Which is the same bullshit. And the second was I wasn't working any steps, and you lot were talking about all the steps all the time. So I sincerely took this position. I decided not to kill my mum. And I said to myself, right, I'm going to go back to Santa Barbara. I'm going to go back to that AA bullshit, and I'm going to do those stupid 12 steps. And when they don't work, I'm going to go and find that man. We're going to have a little chit-chat. I'm going to take him off the bridge with me, right? Now, at this stage of my alcoholism, I know I can't just come skipping into the rooms going, where's Adam? He knows what he's doing. I need to be once again medically detoxed. And so I get in my car, I drive back down to Santa Barbara. I'm going to Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital emergency room, and I park in my usual spot. I'd already been there 3 times that year, and it was only April. As I pulled into the parking lot, I sideswiped the car next to me. I've just driven down a goddamn mountain road, and I crash in the car park of the hospital. People are coming over, there's 2 security guards there. I get out the car, there's tons of damage. There's 2 cops around the corner. They come over to me. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir, that was my fault. It is my car. I've got my ID. One cop goes behind me. He's almost going to be rooting for me. The other cop comes right up to me. He's about to say something else, but then he smells me and he goes, whoa, have you been drinking? I said, no, I have not had a drink. Why, have you been drinking? They don't like that approach. He says, you reek of alcohol. I said, I don't know what to tell you. He said, you're doing some field sobriety tests. I said, I've got to go in the hospital. I said, okay, all right. I do 25 minutes of field sobriety tests. Perfect. He's so pissed. He looks at his colleague, and his colleague goes like this. He says, you're doing some more. Do another 15 minutes of field sobriety tests. Then he makes me blow into his little breathalyzer. It's about 11 a.m. now. I blow into his breathalyzer, and I blow a 0.32. And I haven't even had a drink yet. I am waking up at a 0.32, then I'm drinking my 2 big bottles of vodka. Most normal people, vital organs stop working at over a 0.3. At a 0.4, which I would immediately get to, most normal people are in a coma, and it's a medical fact that some of them would die. And these 2 cops just literally cannot fucking believe it. They cannot believe it, and they're jibber-jabbering with each other. And I'm like, this is a good thing, or is this a bad thing? And then he walks towards me and takes the handcuffs out. And then I start to panic. Have you ever detoxed in jail? Holy shit. And I'm like, wait, what are you doing? He's all, turn around, you're going to jail. And I said, listen, mate, listen. If you take me to jail right now, I will kill somebody, dude. I said, I'm small, but I'm fucking dangerous, dude. And then I start to use the magic language of Alcoholics Anonymous. And then I start to tell the truth. And the miracle starts to happen even if I don't even know it. I tell him all about Alcoholics Anonymous, all about that I'm full of shit, all that I'm going to get a sponsor, that please sir, you've got to let me into the lockdown psychiatric unit. They fucking love me in there, dude. They've got a file on me and everything. Now, of course, they arrest me, but they decide not to take me to jail. And I'll be forever, ever grateful for that. They decided to take me to the local police station. And that felt so much safer to me. And so now I'm handcuffed in the back of the squad car. We're driving to the police station. They're so enamored with what's going on, they radio ahead to tell their colleagues. And he says, hey, we've got this Irishman, and he blew a .32. I said, I'm fucking English, you They take me to the police station, they fingerprint me, they put me in this little cell on my own. I swear to God, everybody in that police station came down to visit me, to have a chit-chat with me. After 2 or 3 hours, somebody that they know and trust comes and picks me up. They come and pick me up to take me back to the lockdown psychiatric unit. But so what? So what? What's going to be different? This will be my 4th time. I've gotten drunk twice on the way home from there. Here's the difference. I have hit bottom. Now then, hitting bottom for me gets misrepresented in these rooms a lot. Hitting bottom for me, and ask anybody that sponsors people, has become something very precise. Hitting bottom is when you ask somebody for help and follow through with all the directions. Think about it. The rest is just a bunch of bullshit of your and my war story. Hitting bottom is rarely your worst drunk. It's not very hardly ever our worst drunk. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened to you. It's when you do those two things. I have guys that I sponsor that are saying they were in prison and that's got to be the worst. Or you know, she was getting high, selling her body so she could get high. It's like, no, that's just a terrible story. I'd hit bottom and I was going to prove it. Now, so someone picks me up, takes me back to the lockdown psychiatric unit. Now, it sounds a little depressing, I suppose. But I love me some lockdown psychiatric unit. You know what I mean? You know why I love it? Because a lot of narcotics are coming my way, dude. You don't want to detox on your own. All thoughts of sobriety go out the window when you're going back to the psychiatric unit. And so they take me in there. A security guard takes me to a semi-private elevator. They take you up to the 5th floor at Cottage Hospital. They buzz you through the first door. Then you're in no man's land. Then they buzz you through the second door, and once again, Darren's in the lockdown psychiatric unit. And I know the drill, dude. I know the drill. I know what I need to do. You go to the little window to get as many drugs as is humanly possible, right? And I go up to that window on the intake, and she knows me, and I know her. And I said to her, "Hello, Mary. How you doing, my love?" She's just shaking her head. "Mary, I'm going to need my usual cocktail. I would like 18 Valiums, 2 pints of Seroquel, whatever the fuck those pink things are. They look amazing. I'll have some of them. And for once, can I have the penthouse suite? And if that's taken, I'll have my usual room." She's just shaking her head. She gives me as many drugs as she's legally allowed to give me. I've got all drugs. I take all the drugs. 10 minutes later, just 10 minutes later, woo, loaded to the gills in the lockdown psychiatric. Loaded to the gills. Ready to start judging fuckers again. You know what I mean? 3 hours ago, I wanted to kill myself. Now I'm Lord of the Nut Ward. She takes my laces off me. She takes my belt off me so I don't hang myself in this happy place. Back then, you would go to your room, you get changed into a hospital robe, you know what I mean? Where you got to tie it at the back. Now, I know exactly what I need to do now that I'm in the lockdown psychiatric unit. I know what all you lot do when you're in the lockdown unit. I got to go and find myself a little girlfriend in the lockdown nut ward. Don't you lie to me. That's what all you fuckers do. So I go into my room, I get changed into a robe, and then where does everybody hang out? They all hang out in the day room, right? They're all in the TV room like One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. So I'm wandering down the hallway. I open the door to the TV room, I bang the door against the wall so everybody looks my way so I can survey my next victim. Oh, I'm like, look at all these losers in here. There's a woman over here banging her head against the wall. There's a guy over here dribbling on himself. And then I see her. Oh, she's gorgeous. It's like the love of my life, dude. I see this girl all on her own doing laps around the couch. All on her own. She's got this long black hair in front of her face. Unusually long arms. She's walking around the room going, oh! Just like that girl out the movie, The Fucking Ring or something. I go sliding in there and grab her by the hand. We do some laps together till we fall madly in love. You know what I mean? And then they detox me from the alcohol by giving me all the drugs. Then they detox me from the drugs and they put me out sober one more time. 13 days later. So what? I was going to prove I hit bottom. I got out on a Wednesday afternoon. I did not take a drink, which is an absolute goddamn miracle. I went to a very powerful men's stag called the Junkyard Dogs. Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. 80 men are outside this meeting hall. Smoking fags and drinking coffee and having a good time. Dozens of them were properly armed with the facts about themselves and the illness. I went straight up to the first serious dude and said, hey, Mike, I just got out today, man. I'm going to drink tonight. You know it, I know it. What do I need to do? And he looked at me and he went, holy shit, Darren, are you sober right now? I said, yeah, barely seen me sober that whole year. oh my God, I've seen how bad you've been this whole year. He said, normally we do some reading, might go up to page 60 and the ABCs. He said, fuck it, let's get into action. He said, let's do a 3rd step prayer right now. I don't pray. I definitely don't pray on my knees. I don't believe in God and I hate religion. I said, what do you mean, Mike, in front of these 80 men? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay. I said, okay, because the no had been beaten out of me. Darren wasn't too cool for school anymore. Darren was about to conform to the process. We did the 3rd step prayer in front of everybody. I'll always remember that meeting. It was a great meeting. We went in there and somebody had a grand mal alcoholic seizure in that meeting. Have you ever seen anybody lock up 2 minutes, 3 minutes, going redder and locking up, and then they finally can't breathe and they fall off the chair? It's disgusting, dude. I've had many grand mal seizures. I've just never fucking seen one. We call the paramedics. We push him out of the room so we can carry on with the meeting. I went home from that meeting and I wrote 100 names on my resentment inventory. 100. I said to my sponsor, you want me to write down every motherfucker that's done me wrong? Give me a pen. 100 names. I passed out. I came to at 5 a.m. shaking and baking. I wrote 100 more names. It wasn't even 6 a.m. I called this man. He answered the phone. He gave me my next column. And he saved my life. I called him 12 times that day to finish all 3 inventories. I went to his house the next day and we did my 5th step. Took us 3.5 hours. He's sending me home for my hour of review and he gave me a big hug, said, Darren, this is amazing. This has never happened to me before. I said, I'm glad you feel good, Mike. I feel like shit, dude. He said, oh, don't worry, trust in the process. I went and did my hour of review. I went to his house the next day to do steps 6 and 7. 6 and 7? I didn't understand step 6 and 7. Nobody understands step 6 and fucking 7 except Adam. He said, don't worry about it, just carry on. I had a lot of willingness. I had a lot of humility. I went to his house the next day to do my 8th step. My 8th step was easy. I already had my list. I just had to annoyingly transfer it onto a new list, and then I added to my list. On my 5th and 6th day of sobriety, I went out around Santa Barbara and made 21 amends. 21 amends over 2 days, all fucking over. All the customers I'd shockingly treated, the women I'd fucked over, the bars, the restaurants, 21 amends, and I was lit up like a Christmas tree. I was rocketed into a 4th dimension. My little English heart filled up so much I thought it was going to burst. Everything made sense. Everything made sense. Oh, this is why he's so into Alcoholics Anonymous. This is why you're sponsoring people. This is why you're being of service. You must get this feeling. And then I had an epiphany. I'm like, oh my God, this is why a lot of people in AA are miserable as fuck. Because they're not doing shit around here. Like I wasn't doing shit around here. And then I had an epiphany and went, oh my God, wait a minute. This is what you're calling God. And I understood because I saw, I felt, I believed. I felt so good. I got up the next morning. I went to Foodland liquor store around the corner from my house and I asked to speak to the manager. I said, sir, I live just around the corner from your store and I've been a really bad drunk for a really long time. I said, I've been stealing vodka from your store for well over a year. I said, I'll not steal from you or anyone else ever again. I'm completely changing the way I live my life. I said, I've added it all up and it comes to $2,750. I said, sir, it's Friday. I just started work 2 days ago for the first time in years. I said, I've been paid. I said, there's $25, sir. I'll be back every Friday with $25 until I've paid that whole amount off and any interest you determine. I said, is there anything else I can do to make this right? And he looked at me and he said, wow. And I looked back at him and said, wow. And I floated off to make some more financial amends. I couldn't believe how good it felt to give you your money back. I said to my sponsor, what's next? He said, oh my God, Darren, this is amazing. He said, steps 10 and 11. I said, 10 and 11, what's that? He said, yeah, I'll show you step 10. I'll show you what to do right here, right now, to postpone the punishment of. Postpone the punishment of, that daily reprieve. Weren't you being punished your last few years of using and drinking? He said, yeah, Darren, you can do that right now. Then I'll show you what to do in the morning, what to do at night. On the 11th step, to sandwich your day. I heard that today. To sandwich your day. You've got to add 2 minutes of meditation in the morning. You're already praying your little English ass off. And we're going to add 2 minutes to review your day at night. 2 minutes, and my wheels are turning. And he knew. He already knew I was a recovered alcoholic, even if I didn't. But thank God he gave me the full strength solution. Thank God he gave me what I now call the guaranteed version of sobriety. Guaranteed. I can't leave anything out, man. I don't like meditation, but I can't leave anything out. You can't leave a 5th step out, can you? Because you have ADHD. No. You can't leave a 9th step out because you don't have the time to do it. No. So I don't know when it became okay to leave out the meditation piece. Thank God he gave me the full strength deal. Now, I'll tell you what, I struggle with meditation. In fact, it's taken me 20 years to go from 2 minutes meditation to 10 minutes meditation. 20 fucking years. But God loves him a little trier. God loves him a little fucking trier, I'll tell you. My God is cool as fuck. My God is up there laughing his bearded ass off at me down there in the mornings doing my shitty prayer meditation. Laughing his ass off, he is. He says, look at that little fuck down there. Look at that little English... This is God, by the way. Look at that little English fuck down there doing his shitty prayer meditation. But then he sees me trying and he goes, oh, wow. You know what? You know what? He says, check. Give that little wanker another day of sobriety. How cool is that? He doesn't care that I'm a potty-mouthed man from Manchester. He cares about my actions. He cares about my helping others, which I do relentlessly. Relentlessly. Steps 10 and 11 are like the keys to the kingdom, man. Steps 10 and 11 are so simple, you won't do it. Isn't that the truth? What is wrong with us? Only an alcoholic will burn his life to the ground to then come running to a 12-step program just to resist the 12 steps. What is wrong with us? But I am sold on the plan outlined in this book, dude. I am in. Some of us have, now I'm sick. Some of us have to work a good program just to feel normal. Now, I'm not as sick as Adam, but I'm pretty fucking sick, dude. I have to work a hell of a program just to be another bozo on the bus, right? Just to be another bozo on the bus. You've got to feed your own soul around here, dude. You've got to feed... Don't worry if some people can go to one meeting a week and they're good and giddy. Feed your own soul. I have to go to a lot of meetings. I have to be of service. I have to be in the trenches. I've got to do H&I. I've got to do all that just to be another worker amongst workers. In fact, I sponsor so many men in Santa Barbara. I do so much AA. I should be the Dalai fucking Lama or some shit. But I do all that just to feel normal. And I'll finish with this story, a quick story. Now, why do we do this? We do this for the full heart. Why do we do this? Because we've entered the world of the Spirit. That's the whole point. But I can only do that if I'm into action. Now, I was speaking about 9 years ago at an Akipaw convention. These YPAW things, have you ever been to one? They're crazy, dude. They are annoying as fuck. And fun as fuck, all rolled into one. 3,000 of these young maniacs have taken over a Hilton complex in San Jose. San Jose in the Bay Area, right? Now I'm the closer, and now many of these little fucks have been hospitalised because they've overdosed on Red Bull. But don't worry, they put them on a monster drip and they were just fine, you know what I mean? Now I'm the closeout speaker on Sunday morning, so many of these wankers have gone home or couldn't make it. That made my resentment inventory, you know what I mean? And so there's a few hundred of them left, and I'm sat on the stage. We're going to give out. There's a girl next to me I've never met before. She's from LA. And there's 400, 500, 600 people all looking at us. We're going to give our talks real soon. And she's messing around, texting on her phone, right? And I think that's super rude. It's super rude, but it's got nothing to do with me. So I get involved right away. What the fuck are you doing? What's the problem? Right. She's texting her sponsor who's having a problem in LA. We're in the Bay Area. We've never met before. I came from Santa Barbara. Her sponsor in LA got sober 21 years previously. 21 years ago, she got sober in a co-ed sobriety house with 20 other people, right? Usual story, she and this guy stay sober 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Everyone else is dropping off, just like we all do. These guys have gone out. This guy's gotten back in on probation. These gone to jail. 2 people have died. Someone's gone back to prison. But these 2 people stay sober 90 days. Everyone else falls off. This guy then moves to meet someone, moves to Maui, Hawaii, plugs into AA, gets married, raises a family, has 2 boys, a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. His 2 boys are going to school on mainland America, and they're both dying of untreated alcoholism. One of the only numbers he still has is hers, so he's texting her. She texts a couple of her sponsees. One sat next to me, and she says, well, I need a male number. Can I give him your number? I said, yeah, no problem, here's my number. Now we give our talks, everything goes great. Now I'm getting in the car with me 3 other sponsees. We take 2 car loads. Now when you're speaking out of town, Adam will know this, when you're speaking out of town, you've got to take your tough guys with you. You know what I mean? The sleeved up fuckers, you know. Tattoos. Well, you never know what might happen. You might run into some of them NA fuckers, you know what I mean? So we're driving in the car down the freeway. I remember to call this guy, so I call him, he's on speakerphone. I said, hey, my name's Darren, I'm coming home from a conference, I was told to give you a call. There's just silence on the other end. And it's a bit weird, and then we realise he's sobbing. He's crying, and he can't catch his breath. And it's such a moment of humility, man. And we're all just sat there, and I want to cry, but I can't because I'm with me tough guys, right? But then I look at the guy over here with tattoos on his neck, and I'm like, wait a minute, are you fucking crying? And then I look in the rearview mirror in the back, and I'm like, oh my God, are you 2 crying? You got tattoos on your face, for fuck's sake. We're all crying, and eventually this guy starts talking. He says, Darren, I want to tell you something right out of the gate. He said, I've been sober a very long time, and I've never, ever, ever asked anything of anyone in Alcoholics Anonymous, but I've always said to God, if my 2 boys need it, please let the hand of AA be there. I said, dude, I'm in. I said, I'm all in. I said, I know many people in many states, and if I don't, I'll find out. I said, what's going on? Where are they? He says, they're both going to school at Santa Barbara City College. I said, I work at Santa Barbara City College. We have entered the world of the Spirit. Dude, this is for fun and for free. This is the greatest show on earth, man. If you're not having a good time, work the fucking steps. If you've done the steps and you've plateaued, start sponsoring people. And the best news is you don't have to sponsor anybody. You just have to try to sponsor somebody. What you need is these little soap operas going on in your life. There's a tragedy going on over here, burning to the ground. There's a wonderful one going over here. She's pregnant and they're going to get married. And there's a nightmare over here. That's what you want to do. Dude, this is for fun and for free. I'll leave you with this. If you're struggling with God like I was struggling, I'll leave you with this. Religion might be for those people that are trying to avoid going to hell. But spirituality is for people that have been to hell. Thank you all very much.